You're tuned in to Shake, Rattle, and Goal, the official podcast of your Springfield Thunderbirds.
Pekka's there on the backhand, scoring the save, rebound in the crease, they score!
Hosted by Matt Baker and Steve Forney. A show that's everything Springfield hockey, with interviews including players, coaches, and staff.
The Springfield Indians repeat as the Calder Cup champions.
Listen to this podcast on all major streaming platforms and wherever you download podcasts.
In his first year at the helm, Kevin McDonald and Drew Bannister have the T-Birds in the Calder Cup Finals.
Watch the podcast on the official Shake, Rattle, and Goal YouTube page at SRG Podcast.
And now, here are your hosts, Matt Baker and Steve Forney.
In this episode number 30 of season 2 of the Shake, Rattle, and Goal podcast is proudly brought to you by our friends at White Lion Brewing in Amherst and in downtown Springfield, by our friends at Brewcade on Walnut Street in Agawam, and by our friends at Landscaping That Fits, 413-847-0338. For the 30th time this season, I am joined by Matt Baker. Matt, how are you, my bud?
I'm doing well. I don't have much of a voice. A lot of yelling this weekend on the lacrosse fields and at hockey games. So my throat's a little scratchy today. But other than that, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, allergies are killing me today too. So, but beautiful friggin' weekend of weather or week of weather coming up. Yeah. So that's exciting. Not so much exciting. Obviously, the result of the Bruins and the Thunderbirds series. There are certain points to me when I thought the series turned pretty aggressively. Mm-hmm. But I do think I think the phrase we're gonna say the most on this episode is not that I'm making excuses, but blah 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 blah, right? And you know, I kind of want to start with one of my fears going into it was that you're a team whose NHL team made the playoffs. Providence is a team, and Lehigh Valley was a team that did not. Their teams didn't make the playoffs, so not only did they have full rosters, but they had guys sent down. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the difference makers in this series, it was Vinny Lettieri, it was Patrick Brown, it was guys that under normal circumstances would be up in Boston. So you know, and again, it happened on Monday immediately after the loss for Springfield. You saw 3 call-ups, right? You saw Ellis got called up, Alexandrov got called up, and Schoenemann. So those are your black aces now. The Blues have some black aces in the hole if they need them. But that to me was a big part. I think that one of the biggest turning points was Patrick Brown taking that slap shot to the face, bleeding everywhere, blood. It looked like he got into a car accident on his shield. Yep. That was a rallying cry for them. And again, that's a guy that wouldn't be down here if the Boston Bruins were any good. So not I'm making excuses, but that was one of the things for me.
For me, the big takeaway, and we'll maybe probably get into each game a little bit, because what a great series.
Great series.
It absolutely sucked to lose it, right? But what a great series. And if you're the AHL, I didn't watch any other series. I probably will tune in for the championship round. You know, I probably won't tune in for anything more than that, even though I'm paying for it.
We all.
But it was a great series. And looking through the box scores of other games, again, just the box score, it probably didn't have the same drama as this series. I don't think, for everything that we sort of had going against us leading up to this opening series, will Luff play? Will Peterson play? What will Dean look like? Everything that we had leading up to this, I do not believe for one second the difference of this series was not skill, it was experience. And I believe that. I'm going to say this a lot, I think, this episode. The rookies played like rookies, and I don't mean that necessarily as an insult, but I just think they played like rookies. And this team, I think all season long, you got used to Dvorsky not playing like a rookie. You got used to Kaskamaki not playing necessarily like a rookie. You know, he didn't light up the lamp. Right. Stenberg, like Buchinger, they didn't make mistakes, but they just didn't rise to that playoff hockey. There's nothing like it. It's a whole nother level of intensity. It's a whole nother level of preparation. And I just think the rookies were rookies. And looking back on it, it makes sense because they are rookies, right? But I think we're so accustomed to them rising to the occasion from game one. You highlighted this. Game one of this season against Laval with an empty net, a minute left, who's on the ice? Dvorsky. The rookie. So yeah. I think, again, looking back on it and I'm processing the season and remembering all these different things, Connor Walchuk, I think did a great job this year. We might have some questions, right? But I think overall he did a great job this year where this really was a young team that didn't and had guys called upon to play bigger minutes than they should have. And he got the best out of them all season long. And he's grooming them. Hey, I'm going to need you in the playoffs to make a power play goal. So let's put you in game one. There's an empty net and let's see how you do under the pressure. And I think this was not about skill. The guys who we had, they were healthy, they were back, they were fast. It just came down to experience. And if you look at the Bruins roster from line 1 to 4, they had experience. And, even like a guy like Nicky, who we'll talk about other stuff, but just from an experience standpoint, when they made the Calder Cup run, I mean, he was not a core piece of that. When he became a core piece of the team, they were swept by the Wolfpack and they didn't even make the playoffs. Well, he wasn't even with the team last year. So where's his playoff experience? None, nada, not at that top line level. And it showed. I think so. I think it just came down to that experience.
Interesting you brought it up. I can't tell you how many times. There's at least 2 or 3 times when in each game when I said, what a shift by Cale Kessie. And I my expectations were low. I going into it, I said, don't even dress the guy. Playoff experience. He knew where to be. He knew what hits to make, what hits not to make, when to just nudge the puck and get it into space. Like just little tiny things that I was like, wow, like who's 13? Okay, Kessie. Wow, what a play. Like, I will say on the other side of it, and not to sort of dump on your parade, I don't think the coaching really did any favors for this team in this series. Mm-hmm. I thought you had that top line of Pekka, Luff, and Alexandrov, and basically for a game and a half to 2 games, you got diddly squat from them.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do you see in the playoffs, you're not going well, and by the second period, the lines are in a blender, and now you're switching up the whole lineup. You're changing things. You're adjusting as the game goes on, and I'm sitting there going, how many times are we going to throw out the same lines over and over and over again, the same power play units over and over again? How many times are we going to keep doing the slingshot entry into the zone on a power play when it's not working? It's not working. And, you talk about learning as a young pro. Is there any more learning experience than, guess what? You're not on the third line anymore. We like what we're seeing. You're playing top line minutes, or we're not getting from you what we need from you. So you're going to go down and play on line 3 while we let this other, the situation happen, right? Like, where was Hugh McGing all series? Yeah. I thought Hugh McGing played great. He was buried in the third line. Like, he's
around 2 rookies.
Right. He's got playoff experience. He should be up playing. He should have been playing top line minutes as far as I'm concerned. Just, again, not the entire series, but there were stretches where I was like, he might be the best player in their uniform. Why isn't he, playing more, right? Why isn't he on the first power play unit? Because what they have right now is not working. So I thought the lack of adjustments by just by personnel and by design, I thought kind of hurt them a little bit. And again, talk about rookies, Steve Konowalchuk, first season in the AHL as a head coach as well. And I don't even necessarily want to just put it on him. It's the whole staff, right? It really is. But I thought that the growth could have been further escalated by some more adjustments and not being stuck in a comfort zone of, well, these are my line mates and we're all here together. And like, no. You're playing with this guy and this guy. Good luck. No, the guy, know where to be, that kind of thing.
The only thing, and it's fair points. There weren't a lot of adjustments made to lines and strategy. Where I will, though, again, for me, taking a step back, I think, and I said this to you, the Bruins were the better team in game 1. And Ellis stole the show. Ellis, without a doubt. The Thunderbirds were a better team in Springfield in game 2. So DiPietro stole the show there. So I think, again, as I'm taking a step back from it, I'm like, Friday night, in my opinion, was our chance to win. I referenced, the rookie missing a power play goal. I thought the two last power plays Friday night in Springfield. Dvorsky had an open net at a really bad angle. And I was standing in one of the, what are they called? The vestibules?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
They call them bombs, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Where so I was being held there. I couldn't walk the concourse, but I was coming back from the concourse. Right. So, and I was right there at the goal line. It was a bad angle, but I'm like, put it off DiPietro's.
That's what Luff did. It's what Luff did in game 1, was knocked it off his back.
The other rookie that was playing the second power play line was Kaskamaki, and I thought he was not deliberate enough with his passing. He just seemed to be overthinking rather than just playing reactive. He was where do I go with it instead of just playing? So I don't know what adjustments, if you're looking at this game and you're assessing game 2 as we are playing better, we just can't crack this goalie. Our line changes what you want to do. I don't know. I personally, I don't, because I agreed. Name of the game is score goals, right? Name of the game, score a goal. You're not. But you outplayed them for 75% of game 2. There was like a 10-minute span in the first period that Boston had the momentum and was forechecking. But other than that, it was, in my opinion, I thought the Thunderbirds were the better team. So I don't know if shuffling lines would be the best thing. I think we talked about this too. Where's that extra gear with this team? They are even keel. They're going to stay where they are. So, and that's because of leadership. So if that's Connor Walchuk saying, boys, stay patient, keep grinding, stay patient, keep grinding. I wonder if in a game like that on Friday night, if you're changing the lines, how much does that mess with chemistry or the psyche of, I'm not playing good enough, I got to do this. Oh, I'm not playing good enough, I got to do that.
Well, I mean, I'll give you that they were the better team, and I totally agree. But it's not like, I mean, they were outshot 25-24. It's not like they had 40 shots on goal and couldn't crack this goalie. They played better in the neutral zone. Yep. They played really good in their own end. I very rarely were they just dominating in the offensive zone. You put together a great shift. You're able to make a line change. You come back. You keep the puck in the zone. You're wearing them down. They were the better team, but there wasn't a lot of. There was no real. I don't know. They played a better. What is it? 90 feet. They played a better 90-foot game. How long is the 200? Oh my gosh, I wasn't even close.
I thought you were. Are you talking the neutral zone?
I guess I'm going to first base. I don't know what's going on. They played a better 200-foot game, definitely. But I wasn't. There wasn't a point when I was thinking sort of where you're thinking of like, boy, they're out shooting them, 15 to 3 in this period. Like they got them on the ropes. Like I didn't really ever get that feeling. I just thought that they had a little bit more jump in their step. So
Friday night, I think that was the game that got away. I
agreed.
I think you stole game 1 with Ellis. That effort from Ellis was unbelievable. Like that game in and of itself, now that the season is over, makes me very worried about what St. Louis will do with their goaltenders. Because this is nothing more than just, I can't say enough of how good Ellis was in this entire series, but what he did in game 1, that can rewrite history. Like, and I'm not trying to be over dramatic, but a game like that can give a front office in the NHL confidence to say, sure, we can let Hofer walk and we can bring Ellis up. And that worries me a little bit. I'd rather them re-sign Hofer, keep him as the number 2 for Bennington, and let Ellis sit in the AHL one more year. But, so you steal game 1. Game 2 was the game you had to have. The crowd was rocking.
Dude, so loud.
It was
so loud.
I love it. And even just, I picked up one of my son's friends and we went to the game, and just the feel in walking around downtown Springfield. We all had our red Springfield Thunderbirds jerseys on, and you had people yelling from, they were like in restaurants, banging on the windows, "Let's go." You have people yelling across the street, "Thunderbirds, let's go T-Birds." I love it. I love it. I love it. And it was just fantastic. And that whole atmosphere in the Thunderdome was fantastic. That was the game that the Bruins stole. But I was worried heading into Sunday, and I thought, again, it wasn't effort, in my opinion. It was just experience. It wasn't, oh man, I even after how the game ended, game 3, I'm not like, yeah, the Bruins top to bottom had more talent. They had more effort. No, they just had experience, and they were ready for the moment when the power plays. How many times have you talked about timely power plays? Thunderbirds didn't have them. The Bruins did. They had 2 timely power plays in that third, and that was it. And
well, I mean, the Thunderbirds had, so that's kind of my biggest gripe. Thunderbirds had 3 power plays in the third period on Friday night and came away with nothing.
Yeah.
You got 6 minutes, guys. 6 minutes of 5-on-4. It didn't even look like they were close, right? Like, it's not like they were knocking on the door, firing 10 shots. They weren't really even, again, because they couldn't get the puck in. I mean, I keep going back to it. They do this slingshot, which every time, as far as I'm concerned, every time you pass the puck backwards, you're wasting your own time, right? The time it takes to pass it backwards, skate through the neutral zone, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. You only get 2 minutes. You can't be messing around wasting time. And to me, that was the biggest. I got in my car so mad that night going, you had 3 power plays in the third period. And before overtime started, I'm like, they deserve to lose this game.
Yeah.
You can't be timely. You can't be put in a situation, be handed 3 power plays and get nothing from it. That to me was by far the most frustrating part of it. Just going back to a couple of things you said there, the crowd was phenomenal. That was the best crowd I think I've ever heard in the Thunderdome in all my years of doing it. I wish it was like that every night. I understand why it's not like that every night, but the vibe was immaculate. The game 1 in Providence, all I could hear was Al Arment and his crew. I didn't hear Providence sounded like a library. It did. It had library vibes on Wednesday. You guys absolutely outclassed them from a fan to fan perspective. And the other thing you mentioned, the goalies. I am also concerned that Ellis could be up. The one positive that I'll have is, you go back to Charlie Lindgren, Joel Hofer, you can throw Malcolm Subban in there, Vadim Zarenko, Colton Ellis. They nail it.
Sam Maltenbo. I know that was with Florida, but
it
still.
was the other. Yeah, I'm just saying, St. Louis. They nail their goalies.
Yeah,
it's like that one team that stinks, but they always get a nasty wide receiver. It's like the Seattle Seahawks. You know what I mean? Like they stink, but they got DK Metcalf and they drafted all the right. So like, I don't know. I know nothing about Will Cranley. I knew very little about Colton Ellis before this year started.
Agreed.
So who knows? Will Cranley could very well step in, and again, he's been on the exact same path, right? He's been in the ECHL just like Ellis was last year. I don't know. I'm less concerned because they have a track record now of young, good goalies, and so that was obviously the strength of the team this year. I don't see why it can't be the strength of the team next year, no matter who it is. And either way, I think you're still going to have Zarenko or Ellis, and I will absolutely take that because both of those guys, for the most part, this entire season were Stones.
Agreed.
So I don't know. Do you want to go back to game 1 and just kind of go through it a little bit? I mean, I took like way too many notes. I was just firing off stuff. I wasn't even looking at what I was typing. I was watching the game as my fingers were going. We scored first. When's the last time this team played with an early first period lead? They're flying around, hitting everything. 2 goals in 11 minutes were earned. Dean Luff, LFG. You know what that means. Taking hits to make plays. Otto Stenberg taking hits to make plays. Same with Leo Loof. Second period, 4-minute penalties can't happen in the playoffs.
Yep.
Can't happen in the playoffs. Al Arman and his crew are so freaking loud. And then every break they play the organ. Do. It's like you realize everyone's chanting, "Let's go T-Birds." Why are you in-house playing that? All it did was make Al louder. Ellis, 1040 mark, 4 saves, 5 golden scoring chances for Provi, all sent wayside. T-Birds are sloppy, need to clean it up. Second periods have not been good for Springfield lately. They need to survive and get to the third. 9:35 break to the 7:42 mark of that period. Absolute assault from Providence since the power play goal. It's been like 6 minutes. 7:20 refs lost sight of it. Another break for Springfield. Hockey gods are rooting for you. Take advantage take advantage and win. And I said, Ryan Smith is so good. He says Providence is sending Ellis fatigue and fire anything at the net. He's sending Ellis fatigue, and fire everything at the net. Provi rips off like 6 straight shots. Right after Ryan said it. Kid is freaking awesome. Why do they love the Austin Powers theme songs in Providence so much? That's true. I heard it like 5 times in the broadcast. This is how my ADD brain works. This is a problem that I don't even know if I want to get into it right now. Remind me of the production in Providence, because I have a real hard problem with this.
Let me jump in there, because that was I don't know if this is a Flow TV thing or an AHL thing.
It's a Providence
thing. I do not need, for the first 10 seconds of a power play when play is going on, seeing the player in the penalty box. I don't need that. They are could I do a better job holding a camera? Maybe, probably not, but it has to be better. It has to be better. And if you're asking the league wide, I don't want to make it just about Providence to make it sound like I'm picking on them, but I do think they have the worst production in the Atlantic Division. Of all the games that we see often, I have the hardest time watching the Providence Bruins production. I'm sorry, I just do. But across the league, there has to be a higher standard now that you're asking your customers to pay premium dollar all year long. It has to be. It has to be. And that's just the one example. I don't need to see for 10 seconds of a power play. I don't need to hear Ryan Smith getting excited about a potential goal or a play, but I didn't see it because they showed the player for 10 seconds. Don't need it. Don't need it. And in a 0-0 game, in a 1-1 game, in game 3 of a playoff, if that was the game-winning goal, I'd be rip. And especially because they don't show any replays, they don't give they just need to.
Or if they do, it's in live action. Like they cut away from live play to show a replay. What are you doing?
Yeah,
follow the puck.
I'm not saying this to just pick on the Bruins, but that's my honest feeling on it. It is not a good production, and I want to see the league raise the standard there, because again, I'm repeating myself, but I believe this. If you're asking us to pay premium dollar for all year long to a subscription to Flow TV, I want a better production out of it. And was the production overall, let me go here too. Was the production overall better this year than last year? There were a few hiccups that I had. I got kicked out of my subscription. I had a hard time logging back in. I can't watch it on my phone if I'm at a friend's house. I don't like that. I paid for it. I should be able to watch it wherever the heck I want. But was the production better? Yeah. Was it to the extent that what am I paying? I think AHL TV was what, $60, 50 something, $55 for the year, for the season, for one team. Was it $100 more or whatever? What did I pay now? One something. I don't remember what I paid, but was it that amount better? No, it was not. So Bruins need to get better, and I think that's I'll say this. I think it has to be on the league to raise the standard and give clubs the opportunity to do better. And you know, again, I'm not trying to knock on the camera guys because they're young, they're learning. Intern camp, I don't know who they are.
I mean,
but
our guys aren't kids. Our production team aren't kids. They're not learning. They're pros. Learning is for the ECHL and college hockey. This is professional hockey.
I agree with you. I'm trying to be a little bit nicer about it.
I'm not yelling at you because
I get it.
Like you said, like, you know, you couldn't hold a camera and blah, blah, blah. I do this for a living. Like I literally teach production. I teach camera work. I teach all these things I teach in broadcasting every single day, Monday through Friday. You said you hope that a game-winning goal isn't missed. It was game 3. The game-winning goal was Matthew Patra on the power play at 2:38. The penalty was at 2:30. That 8 seconds, they were showing freaking Matt Luff in the box, and they missed the goal. I was furious. My son's like, "Oh, are you upset they scored?" I'm like, "No, I'm obsessed that the production guy decided to go to camera 5 when camera 1 is catching the game as the game is going on." To me personally, and I'm not like saying this about this particular person, whoever their production guy is. If I, and again, I would have put a stop to this in October, but if we got to a playoffs and you cut away from the action for any reason whatsoever on a power play and missed a goal, it's a fireable offense. Fireable. There's no reason to go to any other camera except the puck when the game is going on, and that's in every single sport except soccer. Because soccer, there are moments where you get a really good scoring chance, and then they clear it, and then guys are just knocking it back and forth. Okay, you can cut away for 10 seconds. You cannot cut away from a professional hockey game on the power play. I've never seen ESPN do it. Fox, I've never seen any professional organization, CBS, cut away from a first down, from a power play, from a fast break in basketball. Imagine if they just guys coming down 2-on-1, they just cut away to show a replay. Like that, under absolutely zero circumstance. Again, Matt, I'm not yelling at you.
No, I totally get it.
I'm just,
you know like, more about this.
It's what I do, and it's like it's. Imagine watching somebody try to do your job.
Yes,
and you're like,
no, that's what I mean. Like, this is your wheelhouse. I
literally missed the game-winning goal.
As a fan, I'm just like, and even my kids, my 9-year-old kid is like, why are they showing the guy in the box? What are they doing? You could hear Ryan's excitement. Like he does such a good job. And I'm like, I'm not watching the radio. I want to watch it again. And you're paying for it. And so I will say, like, it's on the league. You got to raise the level of standard, and there needs to be a better job so that I know whether I'm tuning in to the Springfield Thunderbirds games, which I have never had a problem with, or I'm tuning into a Hartford Wolfpack game early in the season and we can't watch it because of streaming issues.
Yeah.
All game long. Like that cannot happen next year. It simply cannot. And I want to know that when I'm tuning into an away game, wherever that arena is, I'm getting the same standard of production value that biasly we get from the Thunderbirds, because I've seen now every single Thunderbirds game for 2 straight years on Flow TV or AHL TV.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have season. I don't go to every single home game. I've seen every single home game on TV. Never had a problem with it. So let Springfield be the standard. Maybe there are teams who do a better job, and that would be great. But if Springfield at least was the standard, that's fine. And that's what it should be, you know?
And there's plenty of time to show the guy in the penalty box. We do it. We do it every game, every penalty practically. But it's usually while I'm sitting there holding the mic, waiting for the play to start. And I'm like, and I scoot away because I'm like, I don't want to be on camera. But it's like, there's time to do it. Just not, they're like, oh, wait, let's wait for the puck to drop and then cut away. Like that mindset to me doesn't compute in my broadcasting brain. It just doesn't compute. The other problem that I had, and I'll do this quick because we're not going to complain about this all night. Did you notice that Ryan's call was like a split second ahead of the video?
That's often. That does happen often.
So like Ryan would be saying, save made by DiPietro, like as the puck is on its way to the net.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like it was even like they show the crowd and the crowd is singing along with the song.
Yeah.
But in the video, they were, they were half a second behind. Right. So like, there was that, and then oh my God, this is the problem. I could do this all night. Why can't I every time the game, okay, so a 7:00 game, 7 to 7:30 on the weekends is my kid's bedtime. So I don't sit down to watch the game till 8:00, 8:15. I have to mute the TV, hit play, cover up half the screen with my eye because I have no self-control, and then go through and rewind the entire thing to go all the way back to where I hope is the beginning of the game. I don't have that when I stream other sports. And trust me, especially the Patriots, I don't sit down at 1:00. I sit down at 2:30 and I fast forward through all the commercials and all the other crap we got to watch. That needs to be addressed too, because I want to be able to, wherever I am, it should be a start from the beginning, or there should be some button that allows me to go back and then watch it through. I don't want to sit there for 18 minutes staring at a picture of Hugh McGinn going like this. As much as I love you, Hugh, I'd like to do it intermission. I want to fast forward through all that. So that's a pain. So there you go. That's way too much time spent on the product. Let's see. McGinn, star. McGinn is a freaking animal. I wrote.
He had a great series. He really
was. He was good.
He, again, think about it. Going back to lines, and maybe fair point, something you bring up. Like, here's Hugh McGinn, good enough to play top line, top 6 minutes on probably any other team. Grit, heart, and soul, and again, not knocking these two other players, but sandwiched there on the third line with two rookies. And it's like, I remember looking at that thinking like, all right, this has to be our grit and hustle line, because the way I'm jumping ahead to game 3, the way that the series had been going, I wasn't expecting much out of the two rookies there. And I'm like, putting McGinn on that line, is that wasting any sort of potential offense from a guy like McGinn? That was a thought I had, but
I felt the same thing. The same thing about Nicky, because Nicky, they were forming a double minors in game 1, and Nicky was out there killing penalties, and I'm like, why? Like, why you have Andonovsky and Callan and Kaskamaki? Like, you don't need this guy killing penalties.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt that too. There was a 3 to 4 minute. Oh, it says 4-minute mark, 35 to 15 shots for Providence. The Schooneman eventual clear after the power play winds up on net and not an icing. That is so massive. That was so massive at that point of the game, because if it's icing, you're still trapped. There's nothing you can do. He was able to get that puck on. I thought Schooneman had another just phenomenal series. I said, dude, I was so wrong. Could Z have made 49 saves tonight? Sure, but starting Ellis was crucial tonight. I was wrong. I didn't want them to dress Kessie. I wanted them to start Zarenko, and I didn't think we'd see Luff, and I was wrong. And that's okay. I'm all right admitting that. That's why we do this. We have a show to do today, right? So, that was just sort of some takeaways from game 1. And again, just great win. They like you said, stolen. Absolutely stolen. And then I didn't take any notes during game 2 because I was there.
You were working it. Game 2, that was just your classic. I mean, that's an instant classic game. It truly is. There was the game started. I thought Thunderbirds forecheck in the first 2 shifts. I'm like, oh my gosh, dominant. Maybe, I'm thinking in my head, all right, they realized they stole one. They now got to step their game up. And then Providence went on, like I said, that 10-minute stretch where I don't think the puck really entered the Thunderbird offensive zone at all. I mean, there was some play in the neutral zone, but for 10 minutes in that first period, they didn't see the puck offensively at all. And then after that, it was chess. But it was I don't know. It's a thing of beauty. I mean, again, I remember having this conversation with Steve, my ticket rep, as I saw him, and I'm like, oh man, what more could you ask for? And then we both looked at each other at the same time. Was like, well, maybe a goal, right?
Right.
All right, a goal. We could ask for a goal. How about a 1-0 lead would be great.
Yeah, right.
But that being said, like it truly was. If you could have plopped a hockey fan of any team into that arena, and they would have watched that game thinking, great game of hockey. And it truly was. And it was a spectacle to watch. The 2 goalies, give the guys credit, give DiPietro credit. He battled back after the 2-1 loss and realized, This team is too good, the Thunderbirds. I can't give them a 10-minute stretch not at my best. I have to be at my best the whole time. And he was dominant too. I mean, I say Ellis, that performance could get him an NHL gig next year. Look, DiPietro, you make a run, like he outclassed Ellis. DiPietro's been there before. So you're looking at this guy, I don't know.
And none of that, but he's competing with Bussy. Just from the Boston side of things, he was kind of a throw-in in a trade.
Yeah.
And if you're nobody likes to celebrate their guys who, like Jeremy Swayman was not expected to be an 8-year, $8 million. And they're like, yay, look at this guy. We got him. They love doing that in that organization. And who knows where Eunice Corposalo is going to end up in Boston. So he's battling with Bussy. I mean, there's an actual goalie competition going on there, much like there is here. So DiPietro could very well, we'll see what the next week or so brings, but he could compound that into a job full-time for sure.
Yeah.
Something about hockey people being nervous about goalies named DiPietro. I'm not sure if Islander fans remember why that would be, but I think that might be his one downfall. But seriously, other than that, I mean, he was really, really good. And I give their defense credit too, because again, I don't think the Thunderbirds really ever had a lot of grade A chances. Mm-hmm. Providence definitely had more grade A chances. And I thought that I thought this Ortiz guy played really well. Ty Gallagher came in games 2 and 3. I thought he was good. Michael Callahan, again, another guy who would be up with Boston if they were in the playoffs. I thought that down the back end, they were super, super solid. Ian Mitchell, right? Another guy who was sent down. Mm-hmm. I thought that they were really, really solid back there on the back end. And I think that's a big reason why you saw such a low scoring series. DiPietro was good, but they weren't really grade A chances on him.
You're absolutely right. And was there a single breakaway for the Thunderbirds?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
They got a couple of the 2-on-1s that they didn't.
But I think you can, in 3 games, you could probably count them on one hand, definitely, like not more than that. So I think you're right. That's a fair point. He was phenomenal. He saw a shot and he saved a shot, but he was able to see a lot. That was one thing that I thought I would have liked to have seen more of a front net presence. Because I'm looking at it like, all right, this kid is seeing everything so clearly. You have to take away his vision and need to change the angles. I wanted to see more redirections in front or attempts at redirections, and they weren't there to be had.
Yep.
And I think that's the only way you were beating DiPietro in this series was any sort of magic or that puck luck kind of thing where the puck just bounced the wrong way. And
they came close. They came close in game 2. There was that puck that hit the post and Cale Kessie dove at it again. Right place, right time. Cale Kessie. And he just kind of, he had pressure on him on his back and he didn't get the stick down low enough, but that was their chance. That's the one.
That was their closest one. That and the Devo power play where I think he made the wrong play. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad angle, but could he have tried to bounce it? Because DiPietro had his back totally to, like, there was no way he was getting there to the near post to Devo. So shoot it off him. But I think he, it was kind of just like panicked and tried to pass it through the crease and it never even made it. So I think those were the 2 chances Friday night that the Thunderbirds, that was it. Either one of those go in. It's easy to say, obviously you win that series and it's off to Hershey,
Mm-hmm. And as we sort of shift to game 3, well, actually, before we do, we should pay the bills here. The Shake, Rattle, and Gold podcast proudly brought to you by our friends at White Lion Brewing in downtown Springfield and in Amherst. Your go-to spot prior to Springfield Thunderbirds games, really anytime. Just because the season ended doesn't mean White Lion doesn't still rule. Trust me, it does. When you go down there, make sure you try some of their delicious food. People think a lot of breweries do food trucks, not White Lion. They crank out their own stuff, and it's absolutely excellent. Their Hall of Fame wings, Seuss mac and cheese, Boomer nachos, try it all, and 20-plus beers they have on tap. Great friend of the show, great friend of Springfield hockey. Support them like you'd support us. Mm-hmm. By our friends at Brewcade on Walnut Street in Agawam. Again, locally owned and operated. Michael Sarnelli, good friend of ours. And he's just got a great thing going on down there with arcade machines, pool, darts, beers on tap, kind of got everything that you need. So you get a rainy day this spring and summer and you're like, what do I do? that's the spot. Take them to Brewcade. Take the kids to Brewcade. Have a good time. Take your friends to Brewcade. You don't even need to have kids. Just go down there and pretend you're a kid again. Brewcade Sarnelli. Check them out on Facebook and on social media. And by our friends at Landscaping That Fits, 413-847-0338. I have gotten the mosquito and tick treatment already. I've gotten the first round of fertilizer, and my lawn is lush. I don't know about anybody else. I've already mowed twice. So I don't know about anybody else, but my lawn, we are already mowing over here at the Forney compound. So that's all because of Rob. And again, I can't stress this enough, the ease of paying for things. As soon as he's done, I get an email. I pull it up on my phone, click on it, Apple Pay, double click the side, boom, my bill is paid. So I'm not one of those people who likes to owe people money. I like to pay, on time. And Rob makes that super easy, that whole process super easy. So whether it's the fertilizing or you need aeration or you want weekly mowing done, Rob makes it super easy on our end. And you don't even really know he's there, quite honestly. If my Ring doorbell didn't pick up on it, I wouldn't even know he came. Which is great too, right? So awesome, Rob. Thank you so much for sponsoring this season. Thank you so much for taking care of my property like it was your own. And seriously, support this guy and what he's doing over there with Landscaping That Fits. 413-847-0338. Like I said, follow him on social media. If you like pictures of beautiful, lush green lawns like I do,
he's got some good ones.
He's got some great photos, man. I'm like, look at that lawn. Holy smokes.
I'm in the process. I won't share too much of this on the air, but I had a little bit of a wood burning incident. So I'm in the process of trying to regrow some grass, but maybe after I do, I'll have to give Rob a call too.
All right.
I'm in the process of trying to get it back.
So I had a cool transition going from game 2 to game 3. Of course, I forgot what it was. To me, the biggest, I know I mentioned I got it. So I mentioned the 3 power play goals, which to me were the biggest difference. The 3 power plays that didn't account to goals is the biggest thing in game 2. And I also mentioned in game 2, Patrick Brown taking the puck to the face. I thought that was a rallying cry for Providence. The same thing happened in game 3.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It happened to Leo Loof. And I found Springfield was a little bit whiny. Can I say whiny? I just thought that the refs didn't blow the whistle right away, which I was kind of annoyed about.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more about yelling at the ref than it was support for Leo Loof. Like, let's go win it for that guy. Like, I didn't get any of that. And I'm not sure, maybe it's a veteran thing. I mean, that's what Vinny Lettieri, a veteran, Patrick Brown, a veteran. Vinny Lettieri said, the minute he took that puck to the face, we were like, let's go win it for Brownie. There wasn't really much of that vibe, that feel from Springfield after Leo Loof got freaking smoked in the face.
Fair. Here's another, this from my perspective as a fan. I remember, again, that power play when he got hit. I was walking the concourse back to my seats, saw it right there.
Talking about Patrick Brown?
Patrick Brown's.
Yeah.
When that happens, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. This is just an observation of mine. I'm not rushing the judgment.
I'm making excuses, but no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, so that happens, and like everybody stopped. I remember Nikki, who was on the ice, stopped and waved the trainers over immediately. When Leo Loof got hit, Bruins kept playing. There was no whistle. I think if they slowed down their pursuit of the puck and to try to score, the refs would have been able to blow the whistle. Because should there have been a quicker whistle? I think yes, because I think that's the rule if it's a head injury and he took a puck to the head. So I think that's it should be an immediate whistle. But I also think there's referee's discretion there, where if he's not in immediate harm, if that team does not have control of the puck, the play can continue. So it's kind of that gray area. When it happened to a Bruin, the Thunderbirds stopped too. When it happened to Loof, the Bruins didn't stop. They kept playing. They didn't hear a whistle. They kept playing. Is that the experience? Is that right? Is it wrong? Like I said, I'm not saying it's one way or another. I'm saying this was my observation of it. And not until you mentioned it did I reflect on it. Like, actually, yeah, wait a minute. These two teams played this totally opposite. The Bruins used Patrick Brown as a let's go. Look at what this guy is willing to do for us.
Captain.
Let's not have it be for nothing. Let's not have this end our season. Let's go. And then at the same time, the Thunderbirds are stop, player safety.
Right.
Now in game 3, the T-Birds are trying to get a whistle because their guy is hurt. And the Bruins are like, I don't hear a whistle, I'm playing. I got to win. So.
And a part of it's optics, right? If Leo Loof was gushing blood, they would have stopped it.
Yep.
Right. So a part of it's optics. And I don't mean this to sound sick and twisted, but this is what comes from somebody who worked in the news for a decade. The news, nothing more sick and twisted than the news. He wasn't in the way. Like Patrick Brown was right in front of the crease.
Right.
Like you can't keep playing hockey with a guy bleeding in front of the crease. Loof was kind of off to the side near the boards. You can kind of keep playing.
Play around him. That's what I mean.
And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just, that would be, those are perspective things as to how and why maybe.
Exactly. And that's part of that gray area as the referee. Thunderbirds, you don't have possession. You don't have control of the puck, and he's not in any more danger.
Right
at the moment. You know, if a shot is missed and now it comes off the boards and it's heading towards him, yes, we blow the whistle. But right now, the Bruins take the puck and move it to the other side of the ice. They want to shoot.
Right.
So.
Right. And smart by them. I mean.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying any of this as a judgment of anything is right, wrong. That's my observation of it.
Sport.
And, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. So.
Go ahead.
What do you got? No. I got nothing. What do you got?
I don't really have much more. Like, I also don't want to make this an hour long. We're defeated. Like, there was so much that I personally am thankful for of this season, you know, and it has been such a good season. I think not making the playoffs last year, the way the team kind of fizzled out down the stretch was a bad taste in our mouths as fans. This team this year, you know, sure, it didn't end the way you wanted it to, a first round knockout of the playoffs. But, you know, if there was ever such a thing as a redemption kind of team, sure, 1 year missing the playoffs, it's not that long of a drought. You know, I don't want to sound like we're whining, but there's nothing but optimism in my mind for where this team can be. I think you're going to start to now see a strong nucleus and core players develop here in the AHL in Springfield. And that's all good. And I can't help but, and this is what I was doing last night because I couldn't sleep because it was Sunday before school of
Sunday
a vacation.
Scary.
Yep. But I'm like, excuse me. I'm going back to opening night in playing Laval, thinking about, my son's birthday game, thinking of going to the Hall of Fame to meet every player and have a legit conversation with every player that my kids still made a scrapbook and they still look through it. I think about all the kids club moments that my kids had. And again, I'm not going to get too sappy and sentimental. And I'm sure every family, all you listeners out there, you all have your own sort of things, but I'm reflecting how much it means to me. And we knock on Flow TV and everything, but I'm grateful and thankful that my kids, and they're still at an age when they're like, hey, Dad, Friday I pick them up from school. Hey, all right, boys, what do you want to do today? Well, can we do popcorn and watch the Thunderbirds on the couch? Absolutely.
After a week of practice and everything else, yes, we can sit on the couch.
Absolutely. But I am so grateful and thankful, and I mean this from my heart, that we have this team and this community, and I can share this so intimately with my family. And look, I even have Jill, I will say this, Jill is an avid fan now too. And I'm not she was a good sport, and she would come to the games with us, and she would love and appreciate the family time, and she would embrace it all. But she's now on the couch giving us high fives and jumping around and knowing players' names. And I'm like, this is great. And so from the dad perspective of me, it's just that's sort of what I'll miss during the summer. But it also makes me excited for the fall. And, it's the start of the holiday season, start of my son's birthday is right at the beginning of the season. So it's all those things. And I'm very optimistic about what this team will look like next year. I don't expect a whole lot of changes. I think there will be some. I don't expect a whole lot of changes. And I don't see why they wouldn't continue to build and progress. So the future is very bright.
Yeah, no, it's really, really well said, Matt. And I'm not certainly not trying to steal your thunder, but I kind of feel the same way. And, I'm super blessed to get to do what I do. I mean,
Yeah.
Every home game I get to be there. And yes, there are dog days. There are days in February where it's freaking 8 degrees and I have no interest in going to downtown Springfield. It is, I'm just so thankful to be able to stand where I stand and do what I do every single game. And last year I was like, I do the WNBA down in Mohegan. Last year I'm like, okay, when's basketball season start, baby? This is over. Let's go. And it's basketball time. I didn't want this year to end. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't want the season to end. I wanted it to keep going. I didn't. Could they beat Hershey? I don't know, but I wanted to find out.
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep it going. And I really enjoyed this team. I can't tell you how grateful I am to be able to do what I do. And the fans, the fans saying thank you after the last minute of play in the period, that was organic. You guys just started doing that. And I just started saying, you're welcome. And then boom, like you guys were just started doing it. Like, that's so cool. That just means so much to me. Somebody had a sign the other day on the glass of warm-ups that said, "Hey, Steve, how much time's left?" Like, that just made my whole, I can't even tell you, that just made my whole night. Like, that was just the coolest thing that somebody made a sign for me. Again, the way that they treat my family and my wife is the same way, like Jill, but she has to do it by herself. So she takes the kids to the game. My kids went to like 10 games. It's her and 2 kids. Like, she would rather be doing 1,000 other things than be at a hockey game, but she does it for the kids because the team treats them so well, and the atmosphere and the fans, and the fact that she can send my 7-year-old son into the bathroom, into the men's room, knowing that nothing bad's going to happen. Nothing terrible is going to happen. He's going to go to a stall. He's going to wash his hands. He's going to come out. But he said he's got people in the bathroom like, "Oh, buddy, let me help you with the soap. Hey, buddy, let me get you some paper towels." Like, you people are helping my kid who's by himself in the bathroom. Like, God bless you, God, and the team and the family. And yeah, it's just I'm. It's always the end of the year where I kind of have that moment of like, thank God for what I'm able to do. And and Nate and Bruce Landon for giving me the chance a long time ago. Now we're already in the 10th season of the Thunderbirds. This
crazy.
This is going to be my 10th season of Thunderbirds hockey, which is crazy to me. And so I'm super blessed. And I don't take it for granted. Like I said, I didn't want it to end. I just really didn't want it
I'm
to
with
end.
you. This was a special season. And you had that feeling of like, and you said it perfectly. Could they beat Hershey? I would have loved to have found out.
I would have loved
to have found out, because I think, you did get Dean back. You did get Luffer back. I have no idea about Mac, but I you know what? I hope he 2 shoulder injuries, same kind of outcome. It's tough. So I hope he comes back, because he didn't appear to be playing at the end of his career. Like, he still has time.
He's got tread on the tires. Yeah.
So, but you never know how people respond to injuries. And
right.
I remember having the conversation with Tommy Cross when we started this two seasons ago, which is crazy too. Like, and one of the things that went into his mind when it came to retirement or not is how fast you heal from different injuries. And, reoccurring injuries are tough for the psyche, but I wish nothing but health for Mackenzie McEachern. And he's a great player. He's a nice guy, funny nice guy,
really
great sense of humor, good team guy,
good with the kids,
great locker room. Yeah. 100% with my kids. Absolutely. Him and Corey Schooneman playing basketball with my kids. Again, talk about like memories made and highlights
for real, forever.
That my kids will remember. Playing basketball with Mackenzie McEachern, shooting the ball, steal Jake. So I stole the ball from Schooneman. Did you though, buddy? But like he did. He was like, hey man, try to take it. And he did. But like it's things like that. And this was a fun team. This was an exciting team. And,
and like you said, there was, and we're wrapping it up here a little bit, but like, I feel like the year of change, of like real significant change, was last off season.
Yeah.
And because there was a lot of turnover, and like,
yes,
I wouldn't be surprised if Nikki and Mac ended up sort of taking the Gaudette route, where you spend the season in the AHL, you go sign somewhere else, and then boom, you're up in the NHL club and you're contributing in the playoffs. Like Adam Gaudette did like last night for Ottawa, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, Schooneman's locked in, Skinner's locked in, Will Bitton maybe coming back. You have all those young guys, and you're going to get a new influx. Like, what is Jakob Stutzel, right? He's going to be here. This Fisher on defense, he's going to be here. Skinner. So like, I feel like the turnover is not going to be as great. And you go back to like our episodes early in the season, we were like, who's this Silvegaard? Like, who's he, right? Like there's Johannesson and there's Robertson and but like even a guy like Simon Robertson.
He's going to feel like brand new the next year.
He really is. And it sucks he had that injury, but like he can play. Like he's good. And so I think that if they kept the team pretty much chalk with a couple of additions, I think that they're right. I think they're better, in a better spot. I don't think they're the 6 seed playing the 3 seed. I think they're probably the 3 seed playing a 6.
Agreed.
And I think that that's totally within the realm of possibility. And that, like you said, is something to get me excited for October. Like, unfortunately, the Connecticut Sun are not going to be good this year, and I'm going to have to drag my rear end down to Mohegan all summer long. And I'm going to be dreaming about October 10th, whatever it is, when the season starts, because I'm going to be so ready to go.
In my way too early prediction of what could or may not happen, I do think you'll see minor changes, but I think that the most significant part to next year's team, I loved the transaction the team made this year to add depth. I think Stunzel. Thank you. I can't say. I try to practice his name. I can't say
it's like Stencil, but Stunzel.
Yeah, Stunzel.
There you go. Nailed it.
Fisher, like the guys that were call ups, they become your depth pieces. So, and I think that's all a good thing. Now that you have the 7-year deal, I think that's huge, because now you're not making moves. That's it. You're not. I really want to take a trip to St. Louis next year. I don't know. We got to get in touch with our buddy Jacob, and maybe you and I, maybe we take the family, the kids. I don't know. But I really want to take a trip out to St. Louis next year and watch a game. But I just have to think about it. Like, prior to this deal, if you're St. Louis, like, you're still going to make moves for your club, but you're like, all right, I don't know where I'm sending these guys next year. Knowing that for 7 years, your guys are taken care of in Springfield, and you've got a coaching staff, and you've got this in place, I think it just helps so much with a big picture, which is how to develop AHL continued success. It's not by accident that the Hershey Bears are good. It's not. And it's not. The Providence Bruins have longevity of being good. I mean, granted, they haven't won a Calder Cup in a while, but they're good. They've been good. And I think that does have something to do with the Boston Bruins organization, not this year, but them being good and there being just continuity. You've had,
that's what it is, continuity.
You've had Merkelov and Lysell down there, whether they pan out to be the prospects that you hoped they would be or not. They're playing, they become your core guys. They become your identity. They embrace everything around. Like, and so I don't think Springfield has really had that, minus Pekka and McGing.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think, and you want your NHL team to invest in your minor league team. And I don't mean money. I mean time, effort, focus.
Yes.
Like Philly knows they have Lehigh Valley, and you look at the playoff teams, Lehigh Valley, in their, I don't know how long it's been with Philly. It's been a while. Wilkes-Barre with Pittsburgh. It's been a while. Hershey with Washington, Providence with like you said. So I mean, Montreal and Laval. That's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
So if you can gain a lot of what this season to me was gaining trust from St. Louis. Like,
yes,
send us your guys. We got them. Like,
yes.
You send us your Dvorsky's. We're gonna develop this kid, and by next year, he's gonna be your third line center. Send us your Zach Bolduc. Send us your Jake Neighbors. Send us your Nathan Walker, your Tyler Tuckers. Like, how many guys on that playoff roster we've seen? And I think that's what's really going to be eye-opening for St. Louis is we got you. Like, we got you down here. And we got you down here for the next 7 years. And hopefully that's 14 years.
Yeah.
But we got you. And that understanding to me, I think was never really noticeable in Florida.
Correct.
That is a really unique relationship. And that's something a lot of these other teams have developed with their NHL club. And I think that we are in the process of building that with St. Louis.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's all good. Like, I would expect guys like Leo Loof, guys like Kaskamaki, Stenberg. I think they, along with McGing, Pekka, maybe some other recognizable names, right? I think those become your core group of guys that in 3 years, you're still seeing Leo Loof up and down, but he's still part of, because, it's hard to crack into the NHL, but I think having the partnership is what prevents the sending off of young guys for newer, younger prospects. You're going to look at it and be like, all right, well, we've got this guy, Leo Loof, who's a great prospect. Could he be a call up in a 7th line D in the NHL? Sure. All right, so let's keep him in Springfield because we have this partnership with them. Whereas if you don't have that continuity and mutual sort of respect, you're more inclined to say, all right, well, we'll send Leo Loof to wherever and we'll pick up a 4th round draft pick for it.
Right.
So, and I think,
or even one step further, it's like, why sign, if Dalibor Dvorsky is your 3rd line center because he did so well in Springfield, you're not re-signing Oscar Sundqvist.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the playoffs right now, they went out and signed Ryan Suter for no good reason on the back end. No good reason at all. And he's been benched for Tyler Tucker.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why'd you sign the guy in the first place? Like, we knew Tyler Tucker was good. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, now
so, like,
Tucker got hurt. I don't know.
Tucker's hurt, right?
That's a bad ankle injury.
If you look back to the offseason,
yeah,
they're signing guys, and you're like, well, why are you signing a 4th line center when you have Nikita Alexandrov?
Yeah.
Right. So, like, maybe now that's going to start to click a little bit. Like, okay, let's pencil in some of these Springfield guys, and now we're not spending $3 million a year on a free agent because we know we have these prospects coming up. We know we have these players coming up. And so I think that to me is going to be a big, I mean, a guy like Corey Schooneman, you're telling me he can't play top 6 minutes or 3rd line minutes, 3rd pairing minutes in the NHL. I think he can. Absolutely. Yep. Hunter Skinner's a year away from that. Leo Loof is right on the cusp of that, like you mentioned. So stop signing all these random 40-year-old free agents for $3 million a year because our pipeline is doing what it's supposed to be doing down here in Springfield.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the offseason looks like. And let's go Blues.
Yeah. Hey, 2-2. And look, everybody's talking about Hellebuck right now. He can't get out of his own way. And that monkey on his back continues to grow and grow. So I'm optimistic. I think the Blues can pull it off. They were a few minutes away from stealing game 1.
Yes, they were.
That monkey just keeps getting bigger and bigger every period for Hellebuck. So I would not be surprised at all to see the Blues. They're playing great hockey right now, and you got Binner in the back end, so I would not be surprised to see the Blues.
I believe goals from Jake Neighbors and Tyler Tucker last game as well.
Yep.
So I mean, there you go. So that's what I'm talking, kind of what I'm talking about. So let's go Blues. Again, we want to thank our friends at White Lion Brewing in downtown Springfield and in Amherst. We want to thank our friends at Brewcade on Walnut Street in Agawam, and landscaping that Fitz 413-847-0338. Seriously, thank you all for being wonderful partners for us all season long. We're happy to support local and be involved with local businesses. And I hope you, the listener, are as well. I hope if you have any needs for your lawn, or you want a night out and you're looking for something different, skip the 99 restaurant and go check out White Lion or a place like Brewcade. For real, it's a good time. So support them. They support us. And the other thing I want to say too is tell your friends about the pod. You can actually also, I know it's end of the season, so it doesn't really work, but you can actually set reminders for when our episodes are released. You can get the reminders. So I don't know, I'm looking at the numbers and they're sort of stagnant. So maybe people aren't just aren't sharing the wealth. But if you're a fan of the Thunderbirds, I don't know. I think that we do a kick-ass podcast. So
I think
I'd be listening.
Right?
I'd be listening to us if I were you. So tell your friends.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our sponsors, White Lion, Brewcade, and Landscaping That Fits. It's a great partnership. I hope we can continue it next year in the future. Thank you for listening. Thank you to the Thunderbirds for allowing us to do this, from the outside in. I'm hopeful we could have a little bit more of a larger role. I have some ideas, some things that I would like to see if we can make happen this offseason and into next year. Fans, if there's anything you'd like, if you're like, hey, it would be cool if you guys streamed live from the Concourse 1 game, I don't know, throwing it out there, let us know. If you have an idea of something you'd like to see us do, let us know. It's hard. There's not a lot of content in the off season, but as content becomes available, free agency and things like that, we'll drop an episode. I'm sure I would love to do another Amelia Park live stream if we can for one of their fan caravan events during the summer. We'll probably do one of those. But like Steve said, thank you. Share,
one more
subscribe.
real quick.
Go ahead. Yep.
Ryan Smith. Thank you, Ryan, because every player, coach, game ops person, when we want something, we ask Ryan, and he is sometimes doesn't work, but he's always like, yeah, let me look into it. Let me see what I can do. Coach Connor Walchuk and all the players that we've had on it all goes through Ryan, and he's been super helpful to the podcast, and we really appreciate Ryan Smith. So just a A+ broadcaster. So thank you, Ryan. Keep up the good work, buddy. And thanks for all you've done for the podcast.
Absolutely. When I was going to wrap it up with that, share, like, subscribe, tell a friend. Thank you to the front office staff, the ticket reps, my ticket rep, Steve, all of you are wonderful. You're always so nice to everybody. You're welcoming to kids, and you always greet us with a smile, and all coaches and players that we've had on the show. Thank you. We appreciate it. It's the off season, but we will never stop. Let's go Blues and T-Birds.